Oh, sorry, I had to get some Kleenex. It's a sad day here at the home shop. Today I gotta lay to rest my trusty home life homie man, my homie. It's a half crank curve shaft trimmer that I needed to upgrade to something that was gonna start. I gotta keep the greens from looking overgrown, around the perimeter is all my junk cars in the yard. So I know you're probably thinking, why would the guy be upset about going from a home light to a still? Well, it's not that part that I mind so much, and it's not like this thing has sentimental value, but it kind of reminds me, I feel like I'm putting down a pet. And what bothers me is if I didn't give you the story, I wouldn't be being totally honest about a common punching bag that gets brought up here on this channel quite a bit. I'm talking about the one and only Harbor Fart. It just so happens that I bought this thing way back in the Stone Ages, 1992, before they ever even had brick and mortar shops. And it was a free catalog. I don't know, some of you people might remember. It was a free catalog that came in the mail, and it was like bathroom reading material, had all kinds of cheap junk shit in there, but super cheap prices. And you call in midnight, with the operator standing by, and you give them your credit card over the phone, a big box would show up, UPS, a couple days later, and you'd be like, what the fuck is that? So anyway, it was advertised as factory reconditioned. So admittedly, the thing had already shit the bed once, and they wanted to sell it again to me, even. But back to the attractiveness, it was 49 bucks. So you have 8, 9 Mickey's Big Mouths. You're sitting there thinking about work tomorrow, and like, hey, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy this trimmer. So I bought it. I put gas in it. I maintained 3 different house properties with this thing that I've owned and lived in until just this last fall. It always started on the second or third pull. You'd prime it. There was a primer hidden up underneath the carburetor. You'd have to do that too. Choke it twice, maybe full choke, 2 pulls of fire, put it in the mid, and then I just ran it, and I kept the R's down. I was never too aggressive with this thing. But it never gave me any trouble unless I lent it out. I probably had a couple of heads that wore out on their own of my use, but most of the time the head would need replacement whenever it was getting returned from whatever fuckhead I lent it to. He was either a landscaper or a savage, or sometimes the same thing. But until yesterday, it still had the original plug in it. I didn't replace it. I just took it out to test it. It was clean and it still sparked. And I just thought, I know this thing well enough. I'm going to be able to get it started. It fucking won't start. I'm not going to pull on this thing for too long. But I don't work on these things anymore. 20 years of watching the decline in the quality and having to pull and pull and pull. I gave up on 2-strokes like 10 years ago. People were like, well, I got this chainsaw. I'm like, throw it away. Like, really? No, it's a good one. Throw it away or take it somewhere else, because the comebacks were just too high. The shit was just constantly I didn't want to deal with it anymore. We had real tools to work on. So my wrists just can't take it anymore, you know what I mean? If I'm going to pull and pull and pull on something, it's going to have to be fun if you're picking up what I'm laying down. So more than 90% of these things are not even designed for service anymore. So you won't see, too many 2-cycle videos out of me. But I'm going to make an exception for this one. Not today, but it's been a part of my household for the same amount of time as a good dog or a student loan. And I guess it does have sentimental value. I'm fucking talking about it like it's a girlfriend that just dumped me. She did dump me. So I talk a lot of shit about Harbor Fart, but they did sell me a diamond in the rough, and it wouldn't be fair to them if I hadn't mentioned it. So as for why I went with the still, if you're still curious, some years ago when I was selling whole goods, all the landscapers bought still. It was just, customers determine what the market is. So I figured I'd be a still dealer, get some, some sales out of it. And it was good stuff. I mean, I worked on it here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty reliable. And when they were junk, you throw it away and buy a new one. But that was a couple solid seasons. And for something that's getting 40 hours a week, work out of it for 8 months out of the year, that's pretty reliable for 2-cycle equipment. So it seemed like it was the most reliable out of the few brands that were good. Echo was pretty decent. Husqvarna, the real brand Husqvarna, the Swedish one. And I was already a Dolmar dealer. Well, Dolmar is kind of what the rental houses use, so it was kind of considered like one of the more fucking A brands, for a saw maybe, or for a chainsaw, or for a chop saw or trimmer. But honestly, I was never really impressed with the Dolmar stuff. I didn't think it was that great. I don't think it took the Pepsi Challenge well. And the few that I sold, nobody came back to buy another one. So, I inquired with Stihl, and lo and behold, I was too close to another dealer. Even though that other guy was an asshole, they stuck to the principle to not whore out the brand. There was some kind of a territorial thing. You got 5-10 miles or something like that. So, the one I just bought today, I actually bought in a hardware store, but the hardware store is a dealer for Stihl. So they still haven't whored out like every other big brand, most other big brands, and sell in the big box stores and cheapen everything up. We'll be doing a video on the Home Depot Toro. That's what I refer to it as. A real popular lawnmower. There's 10, 15 million of them out here in the Midwest. And we'll definitely be going through that because there's some easy problems to fix, and you're going to see a lot of those. Or if you're just a do-it-yourselfer and you like these videos, then maybe you got one and it's going to happen to you, and you're going to have to use the repairs that we show in that. But anyway, I just respected that 12 some years later they're still doing the same thing and they haven't whored out the brand. So that's why I went with Stihl. I got a, let's see here. Ooh, didn't do any research on this at all. I just went in there and got the FS38. It's all covered up. At least the recoil's on the back. Cheap carb, choke, easy enough to work. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to review this because, again, we're not going to ever work on these things in the shop here. I just don't deal with the stuff. But the guy was nice enough at the store. It made me fill out the card. And he says, yeah, I got to take you around back and show you how to mix the gas and show you how to start the thing and make sure, everything's cool. And I'm like, nah, man, just give me the receipt. I'm good. Just let me pay for it. He's like, no, it's not really how it works. And, there were a lot of people in there because it's springtime, and I didn't want to be an asshole, but I kind of under my breath, I go, dude, I don't mean to pull rank on you here, but just sell me the fucking thing. So I'll let you know how this thing runs if you guys want a string trimmer, and this is, we'll see. I'll mention it maybe. If not, ask. All right, go cut some grass.